Always a great photo opportunity in front of the famous Wrigley Field marquee. We are inside the friendly confines for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. Game 3 of a 4-game series against the West-leading San Diego Padres, who've taken the first 2 this week, extending the Cubs' home losing streak to 5. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. Day baseball here at Wrigley Field. You can't beat it. But it's been tough to beat this Padres pitching staff. The starters, in particular, have not allowed a run in this series.
Well, it's no wonder that their manager, Bud Black, was a former pitcher. He said this team was all going to be about pitching and defense, and that has certainly worked out that way up to this point of the season. You combine these numbers for their pitching staff along with the fact that they've made the 4th fewest errors in all of baseball. That's a recipe for success.
The Cubs lineup getting a little younger today. Derek Lee still day-to-day with the bulging disc in his lower back. Giovanni Soto on the DL. You've got Darwin Barney at second, and Wellington Castillo will make his 2nd Major League start behind the plate.
Yeah, he got to start out in San Francisco on that last road trip and got his first base hit, a double down into the left field corner. I'm sure he had some butterflies in that ball game. Hopefully he'll work them out before the ball game today. And it's going to help to have Castillo back there. Strong arm thrower, and hopefully he'll be able to slow down this Padres running game.
And he gives some comfort to the starting pitcher, Casey Coleman, since they worked together at AAA Iowa. Coleman making his first Major League start in his 5th appearance. For the Padres, left-hander Clayton Richard. Now down to the field, Wayne Messmer coming up with our national anthem.
Remove your caps and join Chicago favorites Wayne Messmer, accompanied by Gary Pressey at the Lowry organ, as they honor the United States by performing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
The great Wayne Messmer with our national anthem coming up. The 3rd of 4 in this series between the Cubs and the Padres. All the action right around the corner.
Altus dealer. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience, wellness, everywhere. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field. Day games for the rest of the homestand. Today, tomorrow against the Padres, and then the Braves come in starting Friday. You're watching the Cubs and the Padres on Comcast Sportsnet, presented by Allstate. Let's check in on Bud Black's Padres Southwest starting lineup. Will Venable's going to lead it off. Miguel Tejada's had a big series. He bats second. Adrian Gonzalez at first. Chase Headley at third. Matt Stairs, the former Cub, gets a rare start in left. Nick Hundley, his first action in the series. Tony Gwynn will man center. Everett Cabrera is the shortstop. And Clayton Richard will do the pitching.
Take a look at the Cubs defense behind Casey Coleman today. Soriano Bird and Jeff Baker getting a rare start in right field today against the left-hander Clayton Richard. Ramirez and Castro will be on the left side of the infield. Darwin Barney and Xavier Nady on the right side. Wellington Castillo, a fellow rookie, behind the plate for right-hander Casey Coleman. Mentioned 4 appearances so far this season. The first 2 both in blowout losses, one to Milwaukee, one to Cincinnati. But his last 2 times out against San Francisco and St. Louis, a combined 3 innings of work, did not allow a hit or a run, struck out 4, walked only 1.
Fielding Culbreth in his 14th year, South Carolina native, will get the plate. You have DJ Rayburn filling in at first base, Gary Cedarstrom at second, and Ed Hickox at third. So Marty Foster not working today after working Monday and Tuesday night. One quick correction. It will be Jerry Hairston Jr. at the second base, not Miguel Tejada. Tejada and Ryan Ludwig, Yorvik Torrealba all getting the day off today. For the Padres, here's Will Venable to start it, playing right. The rookie righty Casey Coleman with the first pitch. It is a called strike on a fastball at 87. And we're underway.
And one of the keys for Casey Coleman today is to keep the ball down first and foremost. He's a sinker, slider, changeup pitcher, needs to be down low in the zone. Also, he needs to control the left-handed bats in this Padres lineup. Down at AAA Iowa this year, he held righties to a 200 average, while left-handers hit 298.
Venable up the middle, diving stop. Starlin Castro safe. Did all he could. Venable runs extremely well and just beat it out.
That's a good enough play to get just about any other hitter in this Padres lineup, but Will Venable coming out of that left-handed batter's box with great speed, able to leg it out for an infield hit to start the game.
Here's Hairston. One hit in the series, but it was a big one, a leadoff single last night, and he would come around to score the only run of the entire night, sending the Cubs to their first 1-0 defeat since June 16th of 2007 here at Wrigley Field against the Padres. You may remember that day, not so much for the result, but the fact that Derek Lee and Chris Young exchanged some punches.
Well, they exchanged some swings. I don't know if any of them actually landed. See how aggressive Bud Black wants to be today with this Padres team. They've been a very aggressive team on the bases so far in this series and throughout the season. He likes to play hit and run. He likes his runners to steal bases. He likes his guys to go first to third. He also likes for Adrian Gonzalez to hit with runners on base, so that may slow them down just a little bit, but I got to believe that the Padres are going to continue to do what they've done so well up to this point of the season, and that's be aggressive.
Closer at first. Venable able to get his hand in, tuck his jersey back in. There's Gonzalez, who batted for the first time last night with 2 on and nobody out in the first, and he flied out to center. Was able to get Hairston to third base, and he eventually scored. That's low. 89 that time on the sinker. 2-1. It's a good matchup here, Bob. You have 2 guys who belong to 2 of the 4 families in Major League history. They have 3 generations of major leaguers, the Hairstons and the Colemans. The other 2 families, the Bells and the Boones. Hairston was able to hold up, and it's now 3-1. Joe and Casey. Although Casey's actually Joe, Casey is his middle name. The first 3-generation family of major league pitchers. His grandfather and dad at one time were all-stars. Called strike, throw to second. Got him. Wellington Castillo nails Will Venable. Well, you get the ball for your first hit. Do you get the ball from your first caught stealing?
I don't think so. Yeah, the 3-1 run, it's all on the hitter, Jerry Hairston, to swing at a strike and take ball 4, but apparently that borderline pitch he felt was too far inside. Perfect throw by Wellington Castillo. Good tag by Darwin Barney, hanging right over the bag to apply the tag.
Venable has only been caught 4 times all year. 3-2 to Hairston, ball 4. So he essentially replaces Venable at first.
Yeah, we touched on it in the open. Wellington Castillo, we were hoping he'd be able to slow down this Padres running game. And when you gun down the opposing team's best base stealer, both by numbers of stolen bases and stolen base percentage, when you gun him down right out of the chute, that will go a long way towards slowing down the other team.
Here's Gonzalez. And he takes ball 1. 2 for 9 with a run knocked in so far in the series. Adrian Gonzalez did not hit a home run in spring training. Then he hit a home run in each of the first 2 games of the regular season. So what that tells you is that statistically, for veterans who are going to make the club, spring training doesn't matter a whole lot.
It's just a matter of getting their reps, getting enough at bats in the case of a hitter, getting enough innings pitched in the case of a pitcher. I don't think any veteran worries too much about their stats in spring training. Of course, those are the guys that already have the team made.
Yes, it matters when you're on the bubble.
Yep.
Ball 4, back-to-back walks. And here comes pitching coach Larry Rothschild. Psychologically, it can be a little bit different for a pitcher in a starting role when he knows several days in advance when he's going to pitch, as opposed to coming in as a reliever. You get that phone call, you get loose, you come in. I don't know how much sleep Casey got last night, but I'm sure there have been some butterflies, even though this is his 5th major league appearance.
There's a term that they use, paralysis by analysis. Sometimes you have too much time to think about the next opponent and how you want to attack each one of the hitters in this lineup. And The best thing for anybody, whether you're a rookie or the most veteran pitcher on the staff, is just to go out there, try to execute your pitches, work well with your catcher, and trust your defense behind you.
Switch batting, Chase Headley had the game-winning RBI on the first inning ground out in Game 2. Coleman missed again. 1 ball, no strikes. I believe that's 6 consecutive balls. There's a strike. 1-1. Got that one up to 90. Strike 2. Changed him up. Cubs at double play depth. Going to go inside. And Headley able to fight it off. He fouled it off himself. A little extra comfort, as we mentioned on the pregame show, that Coleman working with a former minor league battery mate in Wellington Castillo.
Now, there is a certain comfort factor there. If Casey Coleman should happen to shake off a 1-0 fastball, Castillo probably has a good idea of what he wants to throw and will go right to it rather than have to run through all the signs after every shakeoff.
A bouncer, foul. Just to the right of that first base bag. And we'll do the 1-2 yet again.
These are things that a pitcher and a catcher and a pitching coach will talk about before a start. What do you like to do when you have to throw a fastball for a strike? Do you like to throw the backdoor sinker? Do you like to throw it down the middle, let it move down and into a right-handed hitter? Where do you want to go when you're behind in the count with the fastball? What off-speed pitch do you like to throw when you're behind in the count? Which one do you have the most confidence you can throw for a strike? You get all those things out of the way before a game, so hopefully it's just instinctive when you get out there on the mound.
That clipped Headley somewhere. I could just hear it. And that loads up the bases for Matt Stairs.
To throw that sinker inside, just nipped the front pants leg, it looked like, of his right leg to load him up.
Only the 12th start for Matt Stairs. Most of his starts have come in left. This is his 8th. And he takes a strike on the outside corner. We've seen him as a pinch hitter twice already in this series. A walk, a strikeout, and a run. Coleman pitching in Thomas Diamond's spot. Diamond made 3 starts. 0-2. And Diamond was in for Ted Lilly, who got traded to the Dodgers. Casey's only the 8th starter the Cubs have used this year. Here's the 0-2. A foul pop out of play. I think Matt Stairs, Bob, had determined going into this at bat that he was going to look at least a couple of pitches. They both were strikes, but bases loaded. Coleman walking back-to-back hitters, then hitting Chase Headley. And it's the first time these two have matched up. Ooh. Just missed. 1-2.
How do you take that pitch?
Change up outside, 2-2.
Well, then looking at the Padres stat sheet, it's not hard to figure out what Matt Stairs' role is with the ball club. This is his 54th game of the season and his 70th at bat. He's a pinch hitter supreme.
Coleman just cannot get him to bite off that outside corner. He's missed on the last 3, and it's a full count with the catcher Nick Hundley, no relation to Randy or Todd, on deck. Here it is, and that's off the end of the bat foul.
For that ground ball, Matt Stairs is definitely a fly ball hitter, but if you get that sinker down away from him, try to get that ground ball.
Fly ball deep to left. Soriano back on it. It's going to be over his head. Stairs missed a grand slam by a couple of feet. As it is, he knocks in 2 with a double. So he goes oppo, bangs it off the ivy, and the Padres get a couple.
Sinker on the outside corner. Coleman had worked almost exclusively away after plunking Chase Headley. And Matt Stairs just looked out over the plate on that 3-2 pitch and narrowly missed a grand slam.
Second and third, one out for Nick Hundley. He gets his 59th start.
Padres have split it up pretty good behind the plate between Torrealba and Nick Hundley. Torrealba started 60 games, and as you said, 59 now for Nick Hundley.
Good name for a catcher, Hundley. They have a pretty athletic battery for the Padres. Nick Hundley and Clayton Richard. Clayton Richard, college quarterback. Nick Hundley's father was inducted into the NAIA Hall of Fame as an All-American at Western Oregon University. Not sure if Nick played a lot of football, but his dad did and was very good. Talked about how little Matt Stairs plays in terms of starting. He just tied his season high with 2 RBIs on one swing. And from 8 to 10 knocked in on the season. Ground ball. Throw's going to go to the plate. And the tag applied. So Headley was going on contact and thrown out rather easily by Darwin Barney. So the 2 outs the Padres have made, non-force plays, a caught stealing at second, and then Headley gunned down at the dish.
Yeah, the Cubs had drawn their infield in after the count went to 2 strikes on Nick Hundley, and they're able to cut off that third run at home plate. Castillo looked like he was preparing for a collision there at home plate. Chase Headley decided better tact was just to pull up short and allow him to apply the tag.
Ball 1 on Tony Gwynn. He's playing center. Couple of hits, 2 runs in the series. Able to hold up 2-0. Well, 2-1. Padres really making Casey Coleman work here in the opening inning. Two and two. Just about every at bat has resulted in a deep count. A little bit inside, full count. Runners will go here with 2 down.
It looks like Casey Coleman doesn't get as much movement on that sinker when he throws it inside to a lefty. He tried to start that one at Gwynn and tail it back over the inside corner. When he throws that sinker to the other side of the plate, he gets a lot of downward movement.
Ground ball up the middle. Castro will field, throws to first, in time to get Gwynn to end the inning. Well, a lot of shortstops would be fortunate just to keep that ball on the infield, but Castro got the out. The Cubs are coming up after the Padres get two. Diego with two in the top of the first. Let's see what the Cubs can do in the bottom of the first. Their Southwest starting lineup. Darwin Barney, Starlin Castro, two rookies at the top making up the double play combo. Bird, Ramirez, Nady in the middle along with Alfonso Soriano in left. Jeff Baker against lefties hitting .330. He is in right with Wellington Castillo and Casey Coleman at the bottom.
Quick look at the Padres defense. Stairs, Gwynn, and Venable across the outfield. Headley and Cabrera on the left side of the infield. Jerry Hairston Jr. and Adrian Gonzalez on the right side. Nick Hundley doing the catching for left-hander Clayton Richard. Right-handers have fared considerably better against Richard than the left-handers. And hence, a lot of righties in the lineup today.
Darwin Barney joined us on the pregame show and a leadoff single for him. Second career hit. Talked to him about his gum chewing as the Cubs starting four rookies before September 1st for the first time in a couple of years at Toronto. That included Kosuke Fukudome, who was technically a rookie but certainly a veteran of pro ball in Japan. Thanks to Elias for that note. Here's Castro. Darwin Barney really chomps on that gum. So I asked him about it today. 2 pieces of gum at a time. He said if I get a hit, I'll add a piece the next at bat, and he'll keep that piece in. Sometimes he'll start over. Usually choose sugarless gum. But lately he's done the non-sugarless variety. It's kind of a double negative, but his dad is a dentist, so it can be kind of a sore subject at times, but he says his teeth feel good. But he's got quite a system in terms of the gum consumption. Ground ball, Everett Cabrera backhands and slings it to second, barely in time to get a sliding Darwin Barney. It was a risky maneuver, but it paid off for Cabrera, getting his first action in the series.
I think Cabrera realized he was not going to have a play on Starlin Castro at first base. So from our Coors Light RoboCam, you'll see him go deep in the hole, and that sidearm off-balance throw just in time to get a sliding Darwin Barney at second base. you have to make those split-second decisions as a fielder. Do I have a chance to get the guy at first? Am I better off trying to go to second? Slowly hit ball toward the hole. You immediately eliminate the option of turning a double play. You just have to decide where's my best chance to get one out, and that time Cabrera was able to get the out at second base.
Bird looking for his first hit in the series, as Richard will check on Starlin Castro at first.
You got to be careful. Clayton Richard has 6 pickoffs this season.
His teammate Wade LeBlanc has 7. Foul ball to third. 1-1 on Marlon Bird.
Well, and obviously a lot of things have changed for the Padres since last season as you get a look at the National League leaders in pickoffs. I think more than anything else, their pitching staff's ability to hold runners closer. It was a track meet against the Padres the last couple of seasons. Their pitchers were totally unconcerned with base runners. Their catchers had all kinds of issues throwing out base stealers. But this year they paid a lot more attention to the base runners. They've slowed down the opposing base stealers. And anytime you can keep that guy 90 feet further away from home plate, it's going to take a couple base hits to score him.
Richard's 26 years old, came over from the White Sox in the Jake Peavy deal last year. This is his first ever game against the Cubs. And obviously Casey Coleman facing the Padres for the first time. Lafayette, Indiana, and he is the first person to be named Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball in the state of Indiana. Slicing into the right field corner, and it's caught by Venable. Took a look at where he was, caught it on the warning track for out number 2. He played that ball well. Ryan Ludwig really sets the bar pretty high in terms of visiting players playing right in this park, as we mentioned last night. That was a nice catch.
Now, speed is the great equalizer. Ryan Ludwig, as we mentioned throughout this series, plays right field here as well as any visiting player, but Will Venable with tremendous speed, able to get over in that corner and grab what appeared to be an extra base hit.
A high strike on Aramis. Last night, his 1,500th career game. Went 1 for 4. So Twins scouts in attendance.
Minnie Mauer. As Will Venable made that catch down in the right field corner, I happened to take a look at the other 2 outfielders. Tony Gwynn had sprinted in from his center field position just to be in the vicinity of second base in case a ball hit a runner and ricocheted away. And Matt Stairs, a guy who rarely plays defensively, had run into backup third base in the event the ball got down in right field. Maybe there would have been a play at third.
Ramirez drives that one out into right center, but a lot of air underneath, and that'll give Venable plenty of time to get to it. After 1 from Wrigley, Padres 2, Cubs nothing. performance on this date in 1998. Greg Maddux, then of the Braves, won his 200th game as the Braves doubled up on the Giants 8-4. Mad Dog allowed 1 earned run, got his ERA down to 1.65. The Braves had 9 hits. They were all doubles on this date 12 years ago. Switch hitting shortstop Everth Cabrera takes a fastball low and outside. His playing time has really dwindled with the acquisition of Miguel Tejada. Seems like David Eckstein might be back sooner than later at second base. He's rehabbing a strained right calf. Three and one.
Definitely a guy you want to keep off base. Tremendous speed from Cabrera as well. Had as many as 73 stolen bases in a minor league season. Stole 25 last year for the Padres in just over 100 games.
Inside corner. Starlin Castro, see that speed from Cabrera on a routine ground ball. Made it relatively close. 1 out.
Watch the Cubs take on the Padres tomorrow right here at Wrigley Field. Game time is 1:20, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs lapel pin, compliments of Bank of America.
Clayton Richard, ball 1.
We were having a little fun with the White Sox old unis with the collars on the jerseys and the shorts. You could wear a lapel pin on that old jersey.
You could.
Yeah.
1-1. I go back to your line about, somebody doing something or wearing something that you would never wear. The idea of somebody else suggesting it to you and say, no, that's stupid. Can you imagine going to spring training that year?
Yeah, we went.
The equipment guy hanging the. Where are our trousers?
Somebody cut the bottoms off my uniform pants.
We're going to wear shorts this year. What?
Huh? Really, in a sport where you're forced to slide several times a game, we're going to wear shorts. Okay?
2 ground outs to start the inning. Venable with an infield hit to begin the game, but he was then caught stealing by the catcher Castillo.
My kids get a big kick out of seeing the high school basketball pictures when we wore those real tight, short, butt hugger basketball trunks. They think that is really funny. Well, that was the style of the day. I don't know how you explain those White Sox uniforms.
Well, I go back to the 80s when George Hendrick had the pant bottoms all the way down to his shoes, and it really looked weird.
It did. At the time, it looked highly unusual. I mean, most teams at that time were required by their organizations to show a certain amount of your sock. Some teams it was 2 inches, some teams it was 6 inches, but you had to show the team's sock between your pants and your shoes. Until George Hendrick came along.
Venable reached out, popped it up behind third. It's the shortstop Castro, and that's what Coleman needed. A quick 1, 2, 3 second. Bottom 2, Nady, Soriano, and Baker coming up for the Cubs. Comcast Sportsnet. Dwayne Wade stops by the studio. Tribune writers will join host David Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank, tonight at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Clayton Richard against Xavier Nady, who looks at a strike. In a starting role, Xavier Nady has hit in his last 7 games at a .320 clip. The 2-1 bounce foul, 2-2. Richard in high school, Mr. Football and Mr. Baseball in Indiana. The most highly coveted Mr. Blank, I think, in any state, in any sport, would be Mr. Basketball in Indiana, but still impressive nonetheless. He throws out Nady.
It was Mr. Detention in Ohio. Anytime you're named the Mr. Anything in your state, that's pretty high honor.
Pretty good. I looked it up. Nick Hundley, whose dad was a very good football player and coach, actually quit football as a junior in high school to concentrate on baseball. The 1-0 to Soriano. Fly ball deep left center. Tony Gwynn can't get it. And Soriano has a double. .30 doubles on the year now for Soriano. He's at second with 1 out.
That ball struck well by Soriano, but an assist has to go to the wind, blowing from right to left. Just kept pushing that ball further and further away from Tony Gwynn. A nice effort by him out there on the warning track. Just a little bit short.
So if Soriano can hit a home run today, it would be 30 doubles, 20 homers on the season. Jeff Baker, versatile defensively, third, second, first, left, and right. He's in right this afternoon. When he was in college at Clemson, he was primarily a shortstop, played a little bit of third base. Good swing, fouled it back. 1-1. Always amazed when we run into former college quarterbacks. They're always the biggest guys. Adam Dunn, Clayton Richard. Richard 6'5", 240. Soriano took off for third, got a great jump and stole the base. Who is that guy? That's the Alfonso Soriano of old right there.
Richard not paying much attention to him. He faked that inside move back to second base, but neither Padre infielder broke to cover the bag, so Soriano took an extra step or two, got a walking lead, and stole the bag easily.
The 60th time in his career he has stolen third, and might help manufacture a run here. And that'll work out. Jeff Baker finds the gap out in left center to make it 2-1.
Back-to-back well-hit balls to that gap in left center. This one a fastball down and in right where Jeff Baker likes it. If he got a little elevation on that ball, it might have gotten out of here. He really hit that ball hard all the way to the wall in left center field. Soriano could just walk.
I suppose in the end the stolen base really didn't matter, assuming Baker would have doubled anyway, but it's the kind of play the Cubs have been lacking, and it's something Lou Piniella will note after the game. He likes to see that. Cubs are last in the league in stolen bases. And Steele fouls it back. Only the Toronto Blue Jays in all of baseball have fewer than the Cubs' 43 steals. They're 29th in the majors and last in the National League. Pitch time had been called. Padres got 2 in the first inning. Cubs coming back here in the second with 1 and trying to get some more. Pitch. Fly ball deep to right center. Venable will get there. He's had a busy day already out in right, ranging to his right and left. Castillo gave it a ride, but for an out.
The 26th annual Cubs convention will take place at the Hilton Chicago on January 14th, 15th, and 16th, 2011. Rooms are available now by calling the Hilton Chicago at 312-922-4400 and asking for the Cubs convention rate. Weekend passes will go on sale in early November. For more information, as always, visit Cubs.com.
And we are looking forward to Andre Dawson Day here at Wrigley Field on August 30th. Cubs will present a special gift to the Hawk. New Hall of Famer is Casey Coleman out into left center. And a diving catch by Matt Stairs. Well, you think of great outfielders, you don't put Stairs right at the top of the list, but that is a nice diving catch by the former Cub. He's trying to do it like the youngsters out there. That saved the tying run. It's 2-1 Padres. Wrigley Field. Presented by Private Bank. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early for a special pregame ceremony honoring new Hall of Famer Andre Dawson, starting at 6:40. The first 10,000 fans will also receive a number 8 Andre Dawson the Hawk hat. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Mayor Daley has officially proclaimed August 30th, 2010 as Andre Dawson Day here in Chicago. Andre was elected to the Hall of Fame and inducted on July 24th. Cubs got a run, trailed 2-1. Jerry Hairston Jr. leads off the Padre third. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. I want to welcome all the service women, service men serving the United States at home and abroad, watching on the Armed Services Network. Special hello to those in Rota, Spain, watching today. Also Kevin Kirk, U.S. Army Forward Operating Base Salerno in Afghanistan. Watching Cubs baseball today. Bouncer up the middle. A spin by Castro and the throw right to Nady for the first out. Well, this game has kind of been a microcosm of Casey Coleman's early major league career. Really struggled in his first outing, but got a little bit better in each subsequent relief outing. Well, today had a bad first inning. He's gotten better since.
What a difference it makes when you throw strike one. You can expand that strike zone. You don't have to be quite as fine with the subsequent pitches in the at-bat. When you fall behind early in the at-bat, that's when you are forced to throw pitches over the heart of the plate. And against any major league team, that's when they're going to do damage.
Steps off. I envy you, partner. There's certain words that are hard to say, and I love the word subsequent, but it's not easy for me to say it, but it just rolled off your tongue.
I said subsequent?
Yes, you did.
Oh.
You said it without any sort of issue. I usually have to think about it. Subsequent.
Well, if you ever want to use that word, just let me know.
Okay.
I'll drop it in there for you.
Deep left field, and boy, you mentioned this the other night. He has opposite field power like maybe no other left-handed hitter. Jim Thome comes to mind. Ryan Howard. Man, oh man, Gonzalez lined that out in a major hurry. And it's 3-1. As Gonzalez just hit his 23rd of the year.
Boy, playing in one of the most homer-unfriendly ballparks for 81 games a year. I'll tell you what, this guy makes every ballpark look small. He hits the ball to left field like a right-handed pull hitter.
Somebody lost their beverage, too.
Never leave your cup unattended.
Low and away on a changeup to Chase Headley. 2 balls and a strike. Speaking of Jim Thome, he beat his former team last night with a game-ending 2-run shot in the 10th. His 12th career game-ending home run. That ties the all-time record. The other guys on that list are all in the Hall of Fame. Jimmy Fox, Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth, Frank Robinson, Stan Musial, all with 12 career game-ending home runs.
That's a pretty impressive list right there. And Jim Thome deserves to be on that list. It's one thing to be a home run hitter and slug 30 or 40 bombs a year, but those guys that hit home runs when you need them the most, there's a reason they end up in the Hall of Fame.
Swing and a miss for Coleman's first strikeout. home run swing represented a 2-game swing in the standings because the White Sox were ahead at the time. Matt Stairs lines to Jeff Baker to end the inning. So instead of 2 games out, the White Sox now 4 back in the AL Central. It's 3-1 San Diego.
In particular, the series against the Houston Astros on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. Bleacher seats are still available as well. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office.
Here's Darwin Barney still chewing the same piece of gum as in the first inning, at least according to what he told me. Might have added a piece.
If he has a 5-hit day, he's going to have a heck of a wad of gum in there.
His father, Dr. David Barney, DDS, general and cosmetic dentist, went to the Northwestern Dental School here in the Chicago area, in Evanston. Two and two. Late swing, look out. Ball shot into the seats behind the Padre dugout. You can't stress enough when you come to the ballpark as Barney pulls that one down the left field line. Stairs going into the corner, and it's going to land foul. Looked like it had home run distance.
The same wind that helped Soriano's ball find its way into the gap away from Tony Gwynn pushed that one foul. Barney with a nice quick swing on an inside fastball, put it right down the line, but the wind just pushed it up into the bleachers.
Went down to get this one, popped it up. And it'll be Venable for the first out. You come to the ballpark, keep your head up at all times, especially if you're behind one of the dugouts near one of the bases. On that first base line, and a right-handed batter is up in particular. Opposite way as well. Ooh.
It's a lot of fun and obviously a tremendous view from those seats down close to field level, but it comes with a responsibility. Got to pay attention. Watch that ball.
Ground ball right to Headley. with time to get Castro.
All right, then we got an moment for you here.
Okay.
Jesse Mojer is here at the game today, and along with his girlfriend Brianna Ferber. Jesse is from California, but his father was born and raised here in Chicago, so he's been raised in California as a Cubs fan. And he proposed to his girlfriend Brianna at the corner of Addison and Sheffield. It's the place where they first met years ago. So congratulations to Jesse Mojer and Brianna Ferber, and they wanted to say hi to all the folks back home in California. Oh, this is a romantic place here.
I assume she said yes.
Well, he didn't say. He just said he proposed to her.
Right. Don't want to ruin a good story as Marlon Byrd gets his first hit of the series. 2-out single. This other day action today. The Cardinals hosting Milwaukee. The Brewers won last night. They're scoreless in the 5th today. Randy Wolf against Adam Wainwright. High fly ball to center. Tony Gwynn battling this high sky, makes a catch, and the inning is over. The Cubs strand one. They trail 3-1 after 3.
Open 1 a.m. or later.
Menards grounds crew up and at 'em early today. And as always, a manicure that infield dirt in between the 4th and the 5th. The 3rd and the 4th today. And a strike. Nick Hundley. Gwynn and Cabrera to follow against Casey Coleman. Sharply hit bouncer past Starlin Castro and into left. AT&T trivia. Go back to the mid-1990s in Cubs history. 15 years ago today, the Cubs beat the Rockies 26-7. Who had the most RBIs that day for the Cubs with 6? 1995. We'll show you the lineup. Wynn retired on a nice play by Castro to end the first inning. Nady diving stop. Throw to second in time. They get one.
A nice play by Xavier Nady. He's made some nice plays, stretching both directions. This time a diving stop, strong throw on to Starlin Castro to get the lead runner and keep the double play in order here in the inning.
So that lineup back on August 18th, 1995. I'll tell you, there are a lot of good choices for 6 RBIs. How about the catcher, Scott Service? Or Ray Sanchez? He can't be somebody obvious.
I cheated.
Oh, you did?
I know who it is.
Okay. If Brian McRae, was he the leadoff guy? That'd be an interesting choice, too. We'll find out. It's a total guess on my part.
They scored 26 runs. There's a pretty good chance that everybody in that lineup had some opportunities to drive in runs in that game.
A little more speed at first now. Gwynn instead of Hundley, and Casey Coleman knows that. Everett Cabrera from Nicaragua. Last year was a professional sports athlete of the year in his home country. Rule 5 pick from the Rockies.
Was Cabrera the guy that had the longest consecutive game streak at one point?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
I think we talked about it last year. Wasn't much of a streak, but at the time it was the longest. It was just over 100 games.
Barney, Castro, Nady. Double up a tough guy. 2 double up the speedy Cabrera. Bottom 4. Cubs trail 3-1. 26 against the Rockies. He knocked in 6 that day. It was Gonzo. Luis Gonzalez, 3 hits and 6 RBIs. Sammy had 4. Todd Zeile knocked in 3. Everybody but Ray Sanchez had at least 1 RBI.
2 guys that didn't even start the game had RBI.
In tight to Xavier Nady. 3-1 San Diego. We're in the bottom of the 4th. Clayton Richard making his Wrigley Field debut. Missed again, 3-0. Four straight bad ones for a leadoff walk. Last night's Padre win was a microcosm not only of their season but of the Cubs' season as well. Missed opportunities. Padres just able to squeak out a 1-run win. Teams combined to go 0 for 18 with runners in scoring position. So it was a frustrating night all around offensively, but a first inning run was all the Padres pitching staff needed. Soriano 2 for 2. And the Cubs presented with another opportunity. 1st and 2nd, nobody out.
At bats, 2 hard hit balls off the bat of Alfonso Soriano in this game. That double to the gap in left center. He subsequently scored.
There you go.
On Jeff Baker's double, and now a hard ground ball through the left side.
See, I got you thinking about it. After the first 2 syllables, Supsa, and then you put the Q in there. That's what slows me down.
The Q is definitely a speed bump in any word.
Comes out, hit the Pods last night 6-3, and they're doing it again today 5-4. But they trail where it counts the most. Talk so much about trying not to overthink in this game, trying to clear your head when you're at the plate, trying to hit it hard somewhere, but there is some thinking involved in a spot like this. Jeff Baker would like to, at the very least. You see some swings intended to send the ball toward right to at least get Nady to 3rd with less than 2 outs. Pops it up into center. And he will not be able to tag here as Gwynn fires a strike to Headley at 3rd.
Yeah, ideally you do all your thinking before you get in the batter's box. As you approach home plate from the on-deck circle, you assess the situation. Where are the runners? What's the pitcher likely to do to me? I've done my homework before the game. I know what weapons the opposing pitcher has available. I've been watching the game. I know what's working for him, what isn't working. And once you step in that batter's box, you just have to try to see the ball and hit it hard.
One strike on Castillo. Gwynn coming in. He'll get there. No problem. 2 outs. Casey Coleman hit a ball very hard his first time. Matt Stairs had to leave his feet to make a run-saving catch. Denied Coleman of what would have been his first major league hit, probably a game-tying RBI.
That happened so quickly we didn't get a chance to talk about Casey Coleman's batting prowess. He hit .308 down at AAA. Granted, only 26 at bats, but he had 8 hits, including 3 walks, had a double, and drove in 3 runs.
Big leg kick by Richard, swing and a miss. 0-2 on Coleman. Right-handed pitcher batting left-handed, so wearing that elbow guard. That's his pitching arm. The All-State good hands play. Matt Stairs. Matt Stairs has lost a considerable amount of weight. As Coleman strikes out this time, first punch out for Clayton Richard, who carries a 3-1 lead to the 5th. $695. If you are the 500th texter, you could win 5 $5 footlong subs from Subway. Youngster getting in on the action. I think he could eat 5 footlong subs, probably.
It'll take him a couple of hours, but yeah.
Coleman against Richard as we start the 5th. Casey Coleman was Cubs minor league pitcher of the year last year. AA Tennessee won 14 games. Tied for the most wins in the Southern League. Grew up going to the ballpark with his dad. At the time, his dad had already finished his major league career and was the Angels bullpen coach, so he got to shag during BP at Tiger Stadium, Fenway Park, and other great ballparks. Richard with a single. Now he gets to pitch here in the big leagues at Wrigley Field. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
That's too bad. He won't get a chance to face the Braves this weekend. Troy Gloss will remember Casey Coleman as a 9-year-old in the Angel clubhouse way back when. It's caught by Soriano, so Venable is out. Hairston 0 for 1. He walked and scored in the first inning. James Russell up in the Cubs bullpen. Another son of a former major leaguer. They're all over the diamond today.
And Russell getting ready in a hurry just in case Jerry Hairston should happen to get a base hit here. Put at least one, maybe two guys into scoring position. Got Gonzalez and then Headley, a switch hitter. You'd like to turn around to the right side, followed by another lefty in Matt Stair. So Russell is cranking it up in a hurry.
Right center and a base hit for Hairston. Richard stops at second. 2 hits in the inning.
As we talked about throughout the first 2.5 games of this series, a dead pull hitter, but a little bit of an inside out approach this time, driving a fastball to right field for a single.
Gonzalez with a walk and then an opposite field home run. Castillo will go out and chat with Coleman. 5 homers for Gonzalez over his last 6 games in this ballpark.
Back in the 3rd inning, took a Casey Coleman sinker down around the knees on the outside part of the plate and roped it into the bleachers in left field.
He's only 10 home runs away from tying Nate Colbert on the Padre all-time home run list. Three and 0. Chase Headley on deck. Ryan Ludwig had been in that cleanup spot the first 2 games. Bases full after the walk to Gonzalez. It will be James Russell, the Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pen. I'll turn Chase Headley around. With the bases loaded, 1 out in the 5th, and we'll be back. Not an easy situation. Bases are loaded. One out here in the fifth. We talked throughout this series. Headley has struggled right-handed here in 2010.
He's hitting over 100 points higher as a left-handed hitter. 309 as a lefty, 203 as a right-handed hitter.
Justin Berg is up.
As James Russell was taking his warm-up pitches, Matt Stairs was called back into that first base dugout. Looks like Chris DeNorfia would take the at-bat should we get down to that next spot.
Kick in the 1-0 low. Also came on in a similar spot, but with the Cubs leading in the ninth inning Sunday. He would strike out Skip Schumacher, then he walked John Jay with the bases loaded before being replaced by Carlos Marmol. Also charged with 2 runs in the ninth inning Monday night against the Padres. Fouled back, 2-1. Richard led off the inning with a single, and he is at third. Hairston at second, Gonzalez at first. And the 2-1 pitch, a pop-up, not terribly deep. Bird will make the catch, and Richard doesn't even leave third base. So a big second out for Russell. And it will be Chris DeNorfia to hit for Matt Stairs.
Marlon Byrd properly calls off Alfonso Soriano. Both guys being right-handed throwers. It was going to be a better angle for Marlon Byrd coming over from center field. And Clayton Richard says, I'm not even moving.
So Lou has Justin Berg ready. Wants to give the right-hander just a little more time. Looks like he is now ready. So the Lexus pursuing perfection call to the pen has been made. It's Berg to face DeNorfia. Bases loaded, 2 down in the fifth.
Morgan Club before or after the Cubs game. You don't need a ticket to join in the action. With a new expanded menu and games galore, the Captain Morgan Club is your Cubs headquarters. For more information, visit CaptainMorgansClub.com. SDN.com.
Sinker baller Justin Berg, bases loaded. Chris Denorfia, the pinch hitter for Matt Stairs. Both managers pulling some strings here in the 5th inning, with San Diego leading 3-1. Denorfia 3 hits in the series, 2 knocked in. Inside, ball 1. Thomas Diamond out of the rotation and in the bullpen, replaced by Casey Coleman. And he is throwing in the Cubs bullpen. The pitch. A chopper. Ramirez able to snag it, and he gets the out. A fist pump by Aramis. Nicely done. Saving possibly a couple of runs. And the inning is over. 3-1 Padres. Has given him problems.
Really had to extend to get that ball. Wheels around and fires on to first base. He immediately took his glove off after the play, kind of cradling that left hand as he ran off the field. The thing you're concerned about when you see Ramirez extend that far with his left arm was a shoulder injury that he suffered last year.
2 strikes on Darwin Barney. Denorfia stays in to play left after batting for Stairs. Way outside on a fastball, 1-2. Milwaukee with a 5th inning run against Adam Wainwright, who was 11-0 at home. 1-0 Milwaukee. In the bottom of the 6th. For Wainwright, in his 13th home start of the season, it's the 13th earned run he's given up.
Is that any good?
Pretty good. 1.22 earned run average at home for Wainwright. The Reds won last night. Paul Janisch with a game-winning homer in the 7th. A 2-game lead for Cincinnati as the Cardinals lost. Hundley discards his mask, but the ball ended up 4 rows back. Mike Leake moved to the bullpen by the Reds to try to keep his innings in check. The Padres will have to address Matt Latos and his innings at some point. They've been pretty cautious with him. He'll pitch tomorrow. Headley throws out Barney. Speaking of youngsters, the Cubs minor league report. Iowa Cubs in first place in their division. Austin Bivens-Dirks takes his 5-0 record into Sacramento tonight. Tennessee 6 games up at Double-A in the North Division. They already clinched the first half. And Daytona 2 games out in the Florida State League. They were rained out last night. And they'll be in Dunedin tonight. The Peoria Chiefs in the Midwest League had their final off day of the year yesterday, so they'll have 22 games over the final 21 days of the season. The thing that happens when the minor league season comes to an end, it does have an effect on the big league level for a not so obvious reason. When guys need to get some rehab games in as they come back from injury. Castro takes the walk. Sometimes there's nowhere to pitch or play. End up in simulated games and the like. It's a very valuable tool for the big league team. We'll see Carlos Silva make at least one rehab start somewhere in the minors before he returns to the active roster.
And in the case of the Cubs, it's so convenient to have not only AAA Des Moines but also Peoria so close by, and a lot of the teams that Peoria plays against in the Midwest League in close proximity to Chicago makes it very easy to ship guys out that need some at-bats or need some innings pitched. But as you said, once that minor league season's over, I guess you could send guys back to Arizona to get some work in down there in Mesa at the spring training complex, but there's really nowhere to send guys to get some game action.
Two strikes to Marlon Byrd. Carlos up on the mound again this morning. Coming back a heart procedure. Too high, 1-2. PGA golfer Luke Donald just competed in the PGA Championship. Will conduct the 7th inning stretch a little later on today. There's a nearby Northfield. Marlon Byrd, a high fly, deep but playable, as DeNorfia went back to the track, then came in a couple of steps. Castro back to first.
That's the difference in hitting the ball off the sweet spot of the bat or getting it just a little bit out toward the end of the bat. You can feel it as a hitter. A lot more vibrations when you do not square the ball up on the sweet spot, and Marlon could tell right away he didn't get enough of that one to get it out of here. You talk to hitters that hit one right off the sweet spot, you can't feel it. There's no sensation in your hands. You don't feel any vibration from the bat. And the ball just seems to leap through the infield.
Ramirez pulled that pitch out of play. Starlin Castro's lead on that last pitch was about a step.
We talked about Clayton Richardson, his 6 pickoffs. Also, he uses a slide step to pick it first. He'll use the slide step to home. He gives base runners a lot of different looks. Tough to get comfortable over there.
Ramirez got under it. Tony Gwynn in center will end the inning. Still 3-1 San Diego. We've completed 5 here at Wrigley Field.
Huge game for the White Sox as the battle for first rages on in Minnesota. Coverage begins at 6:30 with GMC Sports Night. White Sox Twins tonight at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend.
4th Cup pitcher over the last couple of innings. It's Thomas Diamond will pitch in relief for the first time. First 3 major league outings were as a starter. Nice job by Russell and Berg to help Coleman get out of the 5th inning without any damage. Coleman went 4 1/3, gave up 3 runs. And a strike on Nick Hundley. That was a breaking ball. Style from Thomas Diamond. You saw Coleman and Berg in particular, the 2 right-handers, sinker ballers. Thomas Diamond, a 4-seam fastball. He will get a lot of fly balls as Marlon Byrd, 2 hands on it.
And because of the differing arsenal of pitches, a different style of pitching. Thomas Diamond is much more effective when he works across the top of the strike zone with that 4-seam fastball with a little bit of riding action. It's a lot of foul balls, and as you said, a lot of fly balls. The sinker ballers keep that ball down, try to encourage the batter, hit the top part of the baseball and hit grounders.
Nothing in 1 on Tony Gwynn. Pitch. Ball strike. His dad played 20 seasons for the Padres. He was a Hall of Fame career. Went in 2007. There were 545 ballots, and only 13 did not include the name of Tony Gwynn.
What in the world is wrong with those 13?
Well, nobody's gotten in unanimously. So that's what happens. A career .338 hitter. One time was a Gold Glove outfielder. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8 batting titles,
including 4 in a row between 94 and 97.
Well, that hurt. Let's see. Well, you talked about it the last inning. Well, it can really sting if you don't hit it in the right spot.
If you miss hit it, and occasionally when you roll over a pitch like Gwynn did right there, not all of the body parts are aligned exactly where they're supposed to be. Sometimes a tendon can slip out of its groove, and it's not a comfortable feeling. I mean, that looked like a very innocuous swing, but obviously some issues there with the right hand or wrist of Tony Gwynn.
Watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Still looking at Tony Gwynn's hand.
He took the right batting glove off, trying to take the wrist brace off. The brace itself was too constrictive, just didn't allow him to finish the swing the way he wanted to. Now he's peeling off the tape that he had on the right wrist.
Fans text camp to Beehawks. That's 242-957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a VIP training camp festival experience on September 18th. That's camped at 242-957 for 2 free tickets, VIP seating during the Blackhawks scrimmages, and a player meet and greet.
Let's go. It's had time to heal by now.
Yeah, I think he's taken enough practice swings.
I mean, it's not fair to Thomas Diamond. Somebody from the Cubs needs to tell home plate umpire Field and Colbert, let's go.
Still checking on the hand.
Wow. You can play or you can't play.
Yeah, I think Bud Black is saying that's it. We just can't wait anymore. So it looks like Scott Hairston's going to finish this at bat. Down 0-2. Imagine Chris Denorfia will go to center. Hairston will play left. So we resume with a pinch hitter, Scott Hairston. The 0-2 from Diamond, fouled back. I don't know if I've ever seen an injury delay quite like that one. In that, nobody knew if he was going to stay or leave. We've had long injury delays, stretchers needed or something very serious, but they just kept testing that hand and could not make the decision. Fly ball to left, Alfonso Soriano. 2 down.
I know what it was. Oh, I was trying to think. You mentioned Denorfio would probably move over to center field. Will Venables, a guy that's capable of playing center field, as is Tony Gwynn, the starter in center field today. I'm trying to remember which team it was we faced not too long ago. The Colorado Rockies, an outfield that has several guys who could play center field. Tracy was talking about what a comfort that was to have 3 center fielders in the lineup at any given time. Of course, they did not play center field at the same time, but center fielder in left, center fielder in center, and a center fielder in right. They cover some ground.
The best center fielder might be their left fielder, Carlos Gonzalez. 2-0 to Cabrera with the pitcher on deck. Now 2-1. Slaps that ball into left. And he's going to try for a double. And he's out to end the inning. Cabrera slapping that ball into left, but then Soriano nailed him as he tried to stretch it into 2. It's 3-1 San Diego. Here on the north side. Watch as the Cubs try to take down the NL East leaders. Coverage begins at 12:30. Chevy Cubs pregame line. Cubs and Braves Friday at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. Bobby Cox and Lou Piniella both retiring after the season. Changes are as we theorized. Xavier Nady deep left field and off that ivy in the well area for a double. He just missed a home run. Ball almost got stuck in the vines.
I don't know if that ball was high enough for this right to left wind to affect it, but just missed that basket out in the well area. Nice swing by Xavier Nate. He drove that ball to left field. Just a matter of maybe a foot or so. It sneaks into that basket as it is. Hits high off the ivy for a leadoff double.
Well, Soriano already has 2 hits. Hundley sprinting out to the mound as Marcos Mateo gets loose in the Cubs bullpen. And after Hundley went to the mound, it's the shortstop Cabrera who then talks to the second baseman Hairston.
And that's a sure indication that everybody's on the same page now for the Padres as to what signs Nick Hundley's going to use with the runner out there at second base.
It's a game of telephone right there. Pitch, a 1 bouncer to Cabrera. Nady has to retreat to second. Baker knocked home Soriano in the second inning. The Cubs' only run to this point. And their only run against a starter in the series. Kevin Correa and John Garland combined for 13 shutout innings in the first 2 games for the Padres. Tony Gwynn with a sprained right wrist. Sure how serious it is. It's serious enough for him to come out of the game during his at bat in the top of this inning. One. A little bit inside. Normally you put the lefty on the right and vice versa, but you see there's not a lot of room where that sidewall is, and with the way Joe Thatcher throws, he's going to hit somebody sitting on that bullpen bench if he worked from that other mound. 3-2 the count. Could have a fan reach over and grab the ball during his windup.
Wouldn't recommend that.
No. That's how close he would be. Line to right, and it held up too long for Venable. Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites, presented by Nuveen Investments. A limited number of suites are still available for games this season. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. Wellington Castillo getting his second major league start. He elevates. Right center field, Chris Denorfia will end the inning. Leadoff double. Yields no runs, unfortunately, for the Cubs, who trail by 2.
Cubs. Vine Line offers exclusive insider coverage and photography all year long. Visit the Vine Line blog at Cubs.com for extra content and order today.
(3-1) San Diego. We get into the 7th. Yeah, we want to mention a special event coming up tomorrow night at Joe's in downtown Chicago. Joe's Seafood Prime Steak at Stone Crab. South Beach is the theme, with Cubs pitcher Ryan Dempster in support of the Ryan and Jenny Dempster Family Foundation. Guests can meet Ryan and Jenny, mingle with select Cubs teammates, and enjoy Joe's signature cuisine. Tickets are $55 in advance, $70 at the door. Again, that's Thursday, August 19th, tomorrow from 6 until 9 p.m. The foundation is dedicated to raising awareness and supporting families affected by DeGeorge syndrome, 22q, a chromosomal deletion, and 17-month-old daughter Riley was born with, that affects her ability to swallow and digest food. So we hope you can make it out.
Great raffle prizes at South Beach at Joe's tomorrow night. Round of golf with Ryan Dempster at Olympia Fields Country Club. An autographed Jonathan Taves Blackhawks jersey. What other good stuff, too.
2-2 on the pitcher, Richard, who is 1 for 2 in the game. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Diamond gets him. A well-pitched game by Thomas would be a diamond gem, right?
Yes, it sure would. Diamond in the rough. We've seen that headline since Thomas Diamond made it here to the major leagues.
First major league player ever with the surname Diamond. Nothing on Will Venable. Mentioned this earlier in the series. Went to Princeton. Played baseball and basketball. Second player in Ivy League history to earn first team All Ivy honors in both sports. His teammate Chris Young was the other. Chris Young on the disabled list, coming back from a shoulder injury. I actually walked behind the 6'10" pitcher coming from the Padre clubhouse out to the field. Said, "You better duck in this place." He said, "Yeah, I've already hit my head once." Saw stars. 2 outs. There weren't a lot of 6'10" baseball players back in 1914 when this place was built.
There probably weren't a lot of 6'10" people.
Strike to Jerry Hairston. Diamond's been getting ahead of hitters since coming in to start the 6th inning. There's Chris Young. I think. He's taller than most people when he's sitting down.
He's the guy that needs to remove that squatchy from his hat, that little button that they put right on the top of a baseball cap, because if he stands up too soon, that would hurt.
Yeah. I think that pitch counted. as Hairston vacated. Second Padre to ask for time. And I don't think he was granted time. We have 2-1 as our count. They still have 1-1 on the center field scoreboard. So it's either 2-1 or 3-1.
Or 12-1.
Or, yes, 21-1. Play for Ramos. Field and Colbert trying to explain why he did not grant time. Now the big board has 3-2, so we had it right. Pitch, swing, and a miss. Luke Donald coming up with our 7th inning stretch.
Here for taking me out to the ball game is PGA golfer Luke Donald.
All right, fans, let me hear ya. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never get back, so it's root, root, root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get some runs, Cubbies!
Toronto is pinch hitting. The Cubs are limited from the right side. Derek Lee unavailable today because of the lower back issue. Coy Hill is the backup catcher, so Carlos Zambrano is pinch hitting with the Cubs trailing 3-1. Luke Donald is with us, PGA Tour member, and you did a great job with the stretch, but a little faux pas at the end. You still have the cap for singing the stretch.
Yeah.
You signed it. That's the cap you're supposed to toss into the seats. You had your own hat on, and that's the one you actually threw.
I got a little carried away there, but I can buy another one.
That's right.
Good proceeds.
Absolutely. Welcome to Wrigley Field.
It's great to be here.
I think you're home in the Chicago area.
I do, yeah. I get to go to 5 or 6 games a year at least when I'm home, so it's always nice to be here. This is a pretty good view you guys have.
Not bad.
Zambrano strikes out. You went to Northwestern.
I did, yeah. Just up the road. Had a great time, 4 years.
You probably did not have to fly to the PGA Championship, right? You just drove right up.
Yeah, I drove up, couple hours drive, and fortunately I drove back on Saturday, which was a couple days too early, but we won't talk about that.
I do want to ask you, though, I mean, it's not a team sport, and when you don't make the cut, I mean, you're planning on a 4-day weekend, and I know it is disappointing. You haven't missed many this year, but you take a big financial hit with all the expenses you have. I mean, do guys have to make the cut to make it a worthwhile weekend?
Well, that's the beauty about our sport. You know, most of our revenues come from, you know, our performance on the field. You know, how we play. If we don't make the cut, we don't get paid, and we obviously have to front up our traveling expenses, our hotel expenses. We have to pay our caddy. So it makes a lot of sense to try and make the cut. Otherwise, you're down on your money.
Well, that's the thing about making a big putt. I mean, Bob and I go out and we hit the ball all over the place. We feel pressure, and we're not very good. But you have to make a putt. And I watch, you know, the camera angle behind when you guys drive off the tee, and the crowd is right there. I know you don't think about where the fans are, but you guys hit the ball straight every time. It's amazing.
Well, most of the time. Those crowds kind of just become trees. They just blend away. So. But obviously, you know, like any sport, you practice and you work hard, and you're able to focus when it matters.
All right, I want to know, did you have to hit the ball out of the sand, and did you have to ask anybody if you were in a bunker? Because that's the big controversy.
A big controversy. Obviously, it was a very unique situation. Not too often we have you know, sand traps where the spectators are walking, so it was very unique. We feel terrible for Dustin what happened, but. Hopefully it won't happen again. You know, that's came at a very tricky time, you know, when he was in contention, and yeah, it was sad to see, but ultimately, you know, the responsibility comes with the player, and if he's not certain whether it's a bunker or not, then you just have to ask. But yeah, it was unfortunate, and you know, I don't think any other place other than Whistling Straits it probably wouldn't have happened.
This is a very different sport here. Bob would be the first to tell you. You can get away with it here without anybody catching you. You do. But that's the beauty of golf. The sportsmanship involved.
I think we're very proud of that. You know, it's a very honorable game, and we like to keep it that way.
Well, Luke, I would imagine one of the great thrills of your career was the opportunity to play the final round with Jack Nicklaus at the old course over at St. Andrew. How was that?
Well, that was really, truly an honor. And obviously the third person in the group was Tom Watson too, so he's no slouch either. So yeah, I mean, that was a very special feeling. We were getting applauded the whole way around, clapped onto every green, every tee, and playing those last two holes, you know, everyone was hanging out the windows. If you've ever been to St. Andrews, there's buildings all around the 18th, and there wasn't a space free where there wasn't people watching, and yeah, a tremendous feeling.
Two-out single by Castro, so the tying run will come up. It's Marlon Byrd. Was cricket the game you watched growing up?
I played a little bit of cricket. That's probably the most similar game we have to baseball. It's obviously a little bit different. Some different rules. The games can go on for 3 or 4 days, but it's somewhat similar rules.
It was Luke's first pitch today. Nicely done.
A little wide, but didn't hit the dirt. So that's what I was told. Just don't hit the dirt.
Don't hit the dirt. You did a nice job.
It's going to be right-hander Luke Gregerson coming on for Clayton Richard. The Lexus Pursuing Perfection call to the pen. We're in the 7th. It's 3-1 Padres. make his second appearance in this series. 2 outs, a runner on. It's 3-1 San Diego with Luke Donald from the PGA Tour. As Marlon Byrd will bat. And we've cut a deal. We're going to swap baseball caps after the inning. Fan who caught your personal cap.
I feel bad, but this one has my signature on, so maybe it's a little bit more valuable.
I wanted to ask you, Luke, what do you think it would be like to play golf with a gallery that was allowed to cheer and hoop and holler like the fans do here at Wrigley Field?
Well, I think it would be fun. I think as long as it's something you're used to and it's constant, then it's fine. You know, the problem we have with making noise, you know, golf is obviously you're meant to be quiet when people are playing. There's that one voice that kind of interrupts you. If you had a lot of voices and a lot of noise, I think it would be fine. It would just kind of blend away. So it's an interesting idea. Maybe we could, maybe once a year, play a tournament where people can do whatever they want.
Well, it gets that way at Phoenix at the 16th hole. Sometimes it's very much on the border there.
It does. That's a crazy hole.
Well, if you do that, as Joe Thatcher gets ready, I think you should do it in Philadelphia. The best spot.
New York, somewhere like that.
Exactly.
Get the
US Opens
hecklers.
in New York, they're pretty good at haggling.
1-1 on Marlon Byrd. Padres got 2 in the first and 1 in the third. The Cubs run came in the second. Castro faked towards second as Marlon swung and missed. I want to know how much scoreboard watching you do late in the tournament and how you cater your game or your shots late on a Sunday round based on where you are in the tournament. And try to.
Yeah, as a general rule, I try not to look at the scoreboards too much. But if it comes down to Sunday, maybe the last 9 holes, then I'll have a peek just to see what I need to do, especially if I'm in contention. I think sometimes looking at scoreboards can be a negative in terms of you try to press too hard and you don't just play your own game. But at the same point, when it comes down to crunch time, it's important to know where you are and whether you need to be aggressive or not.
We'll be watching a scoreboard for you on that leaderboard the rest of the summer. Thanks so much, Luke.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Pleasure.
Definitely be rooting for him down the road. Did a great job with a stretch.
Everything but the hat.
Everything but the hat. That made for an interesting story. And I also like the scoreboard watching answer. You're really playing against the course, trying to block out what other guys are doing. But, man, you get down to the last few holes, it can affect how you play, depending on where you are. Andrew Kashner here in the 8th against Adrian Gonzalez. 3-1 San Diego. One ball, no strikes. Gonzalez has walked twice and homered.
Before we go much further, Len, I want to wish a happy 37th wedding anniversary to Bill and Sharon Shuey from Peru, Indiana, hardcore Cub fans.
Happy 15th to Michael Hughes from Arlington Heights. A roller into center and a base hit. Also, happy birthday to Brendan Bonhart from Macwauketa, I believe, Iowa. Been watching the Cubs and rooting them on for a long time. Happy birthday, Brendan. Strike to Chase Headley. Cashner, the 5th Cub pitcher today. Coleman gave up 3 and 4 1/3. Russell and Berg got 1 out. Thomas Diamond 2 scoreless innings in relief. And Andrew Cashner, Bob, representing the 8th Cubs rookie in this game. Swing and a miss. All 5 Cubs pitchers in this game, rookies. Coleman, Russell, Berg, Diamond, Cashner. Two and two. Pulled into right for a hit. So they have 2 on with no outs. Visit the official online shop of the Chicago Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. Accept no substitutes.
I could possibly see a sac bunt here from Chris DeNorfie. He's put down 1 so far this season. With the on-deck hitter Nick Hundley, the catcher, a .296 hitter with runners in scoring position. Bud Black going to try to move a couple guys into scoring position.
The guy he replaced, Matt Stairs, with the big 2-run double in the first inning. DeNorfie got a piece of it, but it's foul, 1-1. Actually, Matt Stairs, a pretty big impact on this game. Knocked in 2 and saved 1 on a diving catch in the bottom of the 2nd. Tim Stauffer just fired a pitch. Next to him is Mike Adams. A hard bunt that's going to result in a hit. Perfectly placed by Chris DeNorfie. Castro had gone to cover second. So once he got it by the pitcher, Cashner, there was really no play for Aramis Ramirez. That was on purpose, I think.
Yeah,
tried to bunt it that hard.
I think Cashner needs to be a little more aware of the normal play, the normal bunt defense play that the Cubs had on right there. The pitcher's responsibility is to break immediately to the third baseline, allowing Ramirez to cover the bag at third and possibly get the force play there. Looked like Cashner was falling off the mound a little bit to the first base side, creating a lane for DeNorfie to bunt that ball right through. That looked like a cross-up for Wellington Castillo there. Did we mention there's a bunch of rookies on the field right now?
We did.
Okay.
And a pile of trouble here for Cashner. 1-0 on Hundley with the bases full and nobody out. Gets by Castillo, and Gonzalez will score. It's 4-1.
Not so sure that pitch went into the dirt. Yeah, I guess it did. Right at the glove, it went into the dirt, got underneath. It's going to go as a wild pitch on Andrew Cashner. Not a great effort that time by Castillo, but as we've said many, many times, you just don't anticipate a big league pitcher throwing his fastball in the dirt. Expect that pitch to get there in the air somewhere near the target.
Everybody in on the infield, second and third, a 2-0 count on Hundley. Popped into shallow center, and the runners will hold. Nice job, Marlon Byrd.
You never worry about Marlon Byrd getting caught by surprise. He got way behind that ball, took 3 or 4 strong steps toward home before making the catch. Unleashed a throw all the way to home plate in the air. No chance whatsoever for Headley even to think about tagging right there. And if you do that every time, you never get caught by surprise.
Fastball strike on Hairston. Scott, who pinch hit for Tony Gwynn during an 0-2 count. Gwynn left with a sprained right wrist back in the 6th. We're in the 8th. The Padres lead 4-1. Infield still in. And that time Castillo got in front of the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike. His hands, 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Slider does the trick. 2 down.
Harrison way out in front. I'll tell you, that'll happen after you get buzzed in on the hands with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Your natural tendency as a hitter is to speed up your swing a little bit, and you can get that off-speed pitch somewhere on that outside part of the plate. You can get a lot of swings and misses.
Cabrera singled in the 6th inning. But he was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. Milwaukee trying to send the Cardinals to their 4th consecutive defeat. It's 3-1 Milwaukee in the bottom of the 9th. Andy Wolf went into the 9th, now replaced by their closer John Axford. The Cardinals with a run in the 9th and threatening to get more, but trailing by 2. good block by Castillo. Tampa Bay beat Texas 8-6 the final. James Shields with his 22nd decision on the year. It was a win. He's 11-11. He beat Derek Holland. So the Rays hold serve. They're a half game up on the Yankees, who play later. They'll host Detroit tonight. Joe Madden got his 400th career win last night, so number 401 today. 2-2. High again. It's 3-2. Ryan Ludwig on deck as a pinch hitter. The payoff pitch. Went up to get it and fouled it off. Still 3-2.
Cabrera swung a ball four twice now. Pitch before that he fouled straight back. That one straight back off the netting. Both pitches up around the letter high, maybe even a little bit higher.
Swing and a miss. Got him that time to end the inning, but they do get a run on the wild pitch, and it's now 4-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th. Cubs will have to get it done against Mike Adams and possibly Heath Bell. Adams has now appeared in every game in this series. One ball, no strikes to Aramis Ramirez. That will become a souvenir. Now the Haynes comfort zone. Mike Adams, one of the top setup men in the majors, along with the guy who finished the Cubs in the 7th, Luke Gregerson.
Lou was just talking about that the other day, what it takes to build a good bullpen. He said you really need 4 good pitchers down there at the end of the game. Obviously a closer. The Padres have that in Heath Bell. They've got their left-handed specialist who gets everybody out, Joe Thatcher, and then Gregerson and Adams from the right side of the plate. So there's your 4 quality arms at the tail end of a game.
Called strike 3 to send Ramirez back to the dugout empty-handed.
That was a cut fastball, maybe a legitimate slider that time. Whatever it was, just off of the outside corner, but close enough in the estimation of Field and Culbreth. Brings up Ramirez.
By the way, the term hold is not an official Major League stat, but it's one we've seen a lot over recent years. You have to come into the game in a save situation, get at least 1 out, and leave the game with the lead. You can't finish the game and get a hold, and you can't get a hold and a save in the same contest. So Mike Adams comes in a save spot, as did Luke Gregerson. And if he exits with the lead, he will be credited with a hold. Fly ball to right center, playable. DeNorthia takes it. There are also unofficial holds that really don't appear anywhere in the stat packs that we get, and that is, your team trails by a run, you go 2 scoreless innings, you give your team a chance to come back and win the game. Many times that's just as important.
W's and L's.
Yep.
I think a lot of the stats and the categories that we've come up with in this game over the years are more byproducts of agents and arbitration.
Sure.
You get a guy like Mike Adams or Luke Gregerson, they're not going to get a lot of saves, and they're not going to get a lot of victories. But they do come in and keep their team in the game. They record those holds, and when you go to arbitration, you've got to have something to hang your hat on.
You're the offensive lineman of baseball.
Yeah.
Soriano pops it up, short right, and it's caught by the second baseman, Hairston. I'm not sure Venable had a good look at that here in the late afternoon sun. Easy 8th for Adams, off to the 9th. Padres 4, Cubs 1. submit your questions on csnchicago.com. You could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Tyler Colvin comes in to play left and will hit ninth in the order, meaning he'll bat third in the bottom of the ninth. And rookie right-hander Marcos Mateo is now in to pitch. That's 10 rookies in the game today at one point or another for the Cubs,
including all 6 pitchers.
Ryan Ludwig will pinch hit. He caught the final out last night with just a little leap up against the vines and right, as Blake DeWitt was bidding for at least an extra base hit to tie it, if not a game-winning home run. Ludwig called it routine after the game. I talked to him today. It just was not a very difficult play for him, considering how much he has played in this ballpark.
That catch you were talking about, a deep drive off the bat of Blake DeWitt. I think everybody in the ballpark thought it had a chance to get out of here, but Ludwig just a step short of the vines, able to make the catch.
1-2. He says right field at AT&T Park in San Francisco is a bit more challenging than here at Wrigley. A little easier to play right here at night than during the day. It's a little easier right now for Jeff Baker because the sun's not an issue. There's a closer, Heath Bell. Tim Stauffer up just in case if the Padres tack on. And 2 a full count. A rough one for Mateo on Sunday. Gave up 4 runs in 2/3 of an inning in that crazy ninth at St. Louis. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Ludwig. Actually, the 2 outs Mateo got in that game were in the 8th. Did not get an out as he faced 4 guys to start that 9th inning. Bob, your thoughts on the starter today, Casey Coleman?
I was impressed with the way he settled in after a rocky first inning. Just didn't seem to have a good release point, was having trouble throwing strikes, falling behind the count a lot in that first inning, but he settled in nicely. I mean, I think he deserves another shot based on what we saw from his outing today.
Cubs do stay in their current rotation. That would come next week at Washington. Three balls and a strike to Venable. Cubs' next road trip, 3 in Washington, then 3 at Cincinnati. Driven out into center and a base hit. A 1-out single for Venable brings up Hairston. Jerry with a walk and a single in 3 official trips. Scored a run in that first inning. Been a lot of talk about day baseball here at Wrigley Field and what sort of effect it has on the Cubs' performance. I could just say on a personal level, we got home Sunday night, 2 night games Monday and Tuesday, so had the morning and early afternoon hours to get done the errands we needed to get done. But everybody will be home by 5:30, 6 o'clock every day the rest of the week. Get a nice dinner with your family. It is an adjustment period, I think, for everybody, but I like the day games, especially in the middle of the summer. There's nothing quite like a matinee here at Wrigley Field.
I like all day games here myself. Like going back to my playing days, coming to Wrigley, you knew you were going to have the day games. You knew you were going to have loud, raucous crowds and hoped for good weather.
Inside 2-0.
Just got a text from our buddy Mark Grant, who does the TV games for the Padres. He's off today, back in Joliet with his parents, watching the game in the basement. I just texted him, so that's where you belong.
On a day like this, he's in the basement.
In the basement, yeah. Well, it's one of our favorites.
The kick, the 2-0 inside. 3 balls, no strikes on Hairston. Padres have a 5-game lead in their division. San Francisco dropped a game out in the wild card, as well as Hairston walks, as they lost to the Phillies last night. I don't know if it's a happy birthday, but it's a birthday nonetheless.
Mateo's faced 3 hitters and gone to a 3-ball count on all of them. Was able to come back and strike out Ryan Ludwig on a full count pitch. Gave up the base hit to Will Venable on a 3-1 pitch, and now walks Jerry Hairston Jr. on 4.
Brewers held on and beat St. Louis 3-2. Cardinals with 2 in the ninth. Trevor Hoffman got the save. So he came in for John Axford. So for Trevor Hoffman, let's see, number 598. So just 2 saves away from being the first to 600 in his career.
As long as we're sending out greetings to fellow broadcasters, Tom Brenneman watching back in Cincinnati today. Get well wishes to Junior. Had a waterboarding accident, broke his leg on the shelf on the DL. To call up an announcer from AAA.
What kind of waterboarding? Wasn't being tortured, was he?
No.
Oh, the other kind.
Wakeboarding, I guess it's called.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was a say. If you waterboard, there probably would be an accident. Well, hopefully Tom's feeling better. A 2-0 pitch as Gonzalez rolls it foul. Since a rookie was defined, Elias reporting that this is the most rookie pitchers the Cubs have ever used in one game. 6. And here's all the rookies the Cubs have used, position players, pitchers. So the last time they used 9 or more in a game before September 1st was 1974, when 11 rookies appeared. And again, thanks to Elias, they've been working hard for us today. The 3-1 pitch, Gonzalez bounds it foul, so a 3-ball count on 4 consecutive batters here to start the ninth. A 3-2 pitch inside, and it squirts away. And the bases are loaded.
Well, until Mateo finds a strike zone, I'm going to keep saying hi to fellow broadcasters. Our buddy Chuck Swirsky, fine Bulls announcer, watching the ball game today. How you doing, Chuck?
You got them all on speed dial.
Well, if Mateo could get the strike zone on speed dial, we'd all be in business.
Chase Headley, bases loaded, 1 out. You guys went to college together at Ohio U, right?
Absolutely, fellow Bobcats. Chuck did the baseball games for the local campus radio station, traveled on the road with us, and we had a lot of fun.
Bases loaded, 1 out. Mateo ahead of Headley, 1 and 2. A fly ball to left. Colvin went in. Now he's going back on it, and he makes a catch. But this will be an easy tag and score for Venable, with Colvin backpedaling in deep left. And that gives Headley a sacrifice fly. It's 5-1.
Colvin just into the game as part of the double switch. Got fooled by the wind that time. Most of Tyler's playing time has come in right field this season. Finds himself in left today, and I think that wind fooled him that time.
And with that run being scored, Tim Stauffer has started to throw a little bit harder, with Heath Bell now just watching. With his team leading by 4 runs. Denorfia, strike 1. Foul tip for strike 2. Oakland leading the Blue Jays 3-1. Toronto batting in the top of the 6th. Final year for Cito Gaston as the Blue Jays manager. They had a decent year. They're 7 games over 500, but in 4th place in the East, 10 games and now 10.5 out, as Tampa Bay won earlier today. Mateo's 2-2. Going to check down at first. He went. Call made by DJ Rayburn, and the inning is over. They add another insurance run. It'll be Stauffer coming in instead of Bell. Padres 5, Cubs 1.
Right-hander Tim Stauffer, sparkling ERA 1.01, 26 strikeouts against only 9 walks. He's been actually much more effective against left-handed hitters than right-handed hitters.
She's hoping for a big 9th inning comeback. They'll have Heath Bell in reserve just in case. Stauffer starts this 9th inning. Baker lines that one on that right field line. A foul strike on Baker. Hope everybody's all right over there behind the tarp. Outside. Chopper over the mound. Gathered up by Cabrera, and the dig by Gonzalez for the out. Nicely done on both ends. Adrian Gonzalez can pick it. He's won 2 Gold Gloves.
And there was a third part to that play. Jerry Hairston Jr. giving away and letting Cabrera cut in front to make the play. All his momentum was going that direction. Even though he made a poor throw, you see Hairston backs up a step or two. He was going to make the play, but gave way for Cabrera. Nice dig at the other end by Gonzalez.
Here's Blake DeWitt for Wellington Castillo. Bouncer to Hairston. As he lobs it to Gonzalez, 2 outs. Tyler Colvin, who came in to play left in this 9th inning, represents the last opportunity for the Cubs. Most relievers work from the stretch with nobody on base just to keep the same mechanics since they pitch so often with men on. Well, Tim Stauffer does not. And a lot of times it's guys who have started in their careers. Tim Stauffer's made 32 career starts, including 1 earlier this season. So pitching in relief basically for the first time this year at the major league level. He's going to stay from the windup as much as he can. Hit hard deep to left. But Scott Hairston is there on the warning track. And the Padres have taken the first 3 games of this series. So the Cubs will have to win tomorrow to avoid a 4-game sweep. Padres now have won 4 in a row. They have the best road record and overall record in the National League. And the Cubs now have dropped 6 straight here at Wrigley Field. Time for the GMC player of the game. It's former Cub Matt Stairs, who did it at the plate and on defense, and he only played half the game.
That doubled over the head of Alfonso Soriano into left field to drive home a couple of runs. And then made a great diving, sliding catch on the drive off the bat of Casey Coleman. Matt Stairs not known for his defense, but he played a major part in this game today.
So that'll wrap up our game coverage. Stay tuned for Sylvania Post Game Live. The final score today, the Padres 5, the Cubs 1. We're back here on Comcast Sportsnet Friday as the first place Braves out of the East will hit town. First of a 3-game series. Cubs and Braves at 1 o'clock. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob Brenly and our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew, Len Casper sending it over to Gail and Todd in our downtown Chicago studios.